All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. So the Carolina Panthers just made a big time move. 2-year, $20 million contract that could turn up to $24 million. Jadeveon Clowney from the Baltimore Ravens, former Gamecock legend. Folks, he's coming off a resurgent season with the Ravens where he tied a career high 9.5 sacks. Now, I just saw this silliest, goofiest comment on somebody else's comment section, and it was crazy to me because Clowney being a member of the Carolina Panthers right now is game changing, folks. Carolina's made a couple of moves. They've made multitude of moves this offseason, trading for Deontay Johnson from the Pittsburgh Steelers. You got two great offensive linemen in Robert Hunt and Damian Lewis. You're filling out your defense with guys like Josie Jewell, DJ Wanham, Ashawn Robinson, and they traded away Brian Burns to the New York Giants, right? And everybody was kind of losing their minds, non-Panthers fans and just random NFL fans were saying, like, why would you ever do a trade like that? And I was, in our last Panthers video, I was taking a completely different route. And now this move makes a whole lot of sense. Brian Burns is a phenomenal athlete. He is a really solid football player. But what he provided the Carolina Panthers last season, defensively, statistically, eye test wise, whatever metric you want to use, I don't think, based on where the current Carolina Panthers look right now, like right here, right now, Bryce Young coming off his rookie season, very young team, right? Very young offense, very young quarterback, brand new head coach in Dave Canales. I don't think it made sense to pay Brian Burns an arm and a leg for a multi-year contract based on his production last year. I think the money was a little bit too high for it to make sense with the Carolina Panthers. And now with a move like signing Clowney to a 2-year deal, it makes a whole lot of sense. And I love the current route of the Carolina Panthers. And we're going to talk about it in today's video. But before we do, if you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. We're posting some Panthers videos on this channel all summer. So hit that like button. Let's try and get this video to 250 likes. That would mean the absolute world to me. Jadeveon Clowney is by no means a bust. And, I'm not trying to rag on this dude here. He was saying, anybody in the NFL, it doesn't matter. He was a what if kind of prospect. Now you're allowing him to play 10 minutes away from his home. Do you really think he's going to give you any effort? Plus, he's injury prone. He'll be hurt by week 5. I don't think personally that could be further from the truth. Clowney did have a down season in 2022, his final year in Cleveland, where he only had 2 sacks, only 4 quarterback hits. He is up there in age, 31, but this past season, if you're a Baltimore Ravens fan, especially watching this video, you know exactly what I'm talking about. 19 quarterback hits, 9.5 sacks. I just like the move a lot. Clowney was highly sought after, his final season in South Carolina, and he got injured in his rookie season. But 2 years after he was a rookie, he made 3 straight Pro Bowls. He made an all-pro team. I never personally thought that Clowney's statistics, his personal statistics, were indicative of how good he was or how much he impacts the game. He's going to rush the QB. He's going to hit the QB. He's going to bring him down on a couple of sacks. And he's also solid in the run game. So, the Clowney move, in my opinion, it's like an A move. This is a great move by the Carolina Panthers, who are kind of retweaking their defense, right? You got guys like Derek Brown on the edge. You got Shaq Thompson, who had a brutal injured season. You got J.C. Horton, who had a brutal injured season. The Carolina Panthers defense, you guys were ragging on me in my last video. Folks, statistically, they finished as the 29th ranked defense as far as opponents' points per game. And I understand it because the Carolina Panthers offense was not good, finishing with less than 14 points per game. Some way, somehow, that was not the worst offense in the National Football League. Carolina on paper, when they are healthy, even with the subtraction of guys like Brian Burns and Frankie Louvu, they're still really solid, and they're still going to be really solid for the foreseeable future. I like a lot of the moves they made. Josie Jewell, you picked up DJ Wanham, Ashawn Robinson, you picked up Jordan Fuller, sorry. You picked up Dane Jackson, who I think's just been begging for a starting role over in Buffalo. We go back 2 years ago, new cornerback, Dane Jackson, right? Because you lost Dante. 15 games played, 14 starts, 12 pass deflections, a couple of interceptions, 57 total tackles. Like, they're just revamping their offense, and they're creating it to be more sustainable. And at the end of the day, the Carolina Panthers defense, as far as sacks per game and sacks in the entire season, Carolina was not good, folks. They were dead last in total sacks last season. DJ Wanham, 8 total sacks. Clowney, 9.5 sacks. The Carolina Panthers defense, in my opinion, even with the subtraction of Brian Burns specifically, maybe they're not going to be as good right away. But folks, the defense wasn't bad, right? The stats don't really indicate it properly because the offense was putting up less than 14 points per game. At the end of the day, the Carolina Panthers' future is completely on your starting quarterback, Bryce Young. And Bryce Young, I get it. The eye test was a little bit shaky. The stats were not great. 11 touchdowns, 10 total interceptions. He wasn't passing for a whole lot. He was only averaging 180 passing yards per game. But when you dive deeper into the Panthers' offense last season, especially the offensive line, like, it just makes sense that Bryce Young struggled. So they hit the most important part of your entire offense in the offensive line, right? Just take up. If you don't win in the trenches, folks, on both sides of the football, but especially with a rookie quarterback, you're not going to win football games. I don't care how good you are. CJ Stroud was just spectacular, right? But Bryce Young's situation was completely different than CJ Stroud. So Carolina's offseason, even though they've made some really nice moves trading for Deontay Johnson, you made some moves on the defensive side of things. You know, they keep making moves, picking up Jadeveon Clowney. It's going to be a sneaky good offseason. They spent a bunch of money, and the only reason is because offensive line players are not flashy. When you draft an offensive lineman in the first round, or on day one of free agency, you pick up some big-time offensive linemen, you know, these aren't like flashy statistical players, right? I can't look up Robert Hunt right now on PFF or whatever and be like, oh, he had, 80 total catches for 1,300 yards. So they feel underwhelming at the time. If you're like an OG hardcore football fan, if you're a hardcore Panthers fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You had to fix the offensive line. And folks, that's exactly what they did in the offseason, picking up Robert Hunt at the right guard and picking up left guard Damian Lewis. You picked up another wide receiver, a desperately needed piece in Deontay Johnson, who's coming off a down season with the Carolina Panthers. I still have Jonathan Mingo. I still have Adam Thielen. I still got Chuba Hubbard. And I still have a couple of draft picks, especially in the second round. Like, Carolina is going to be just fine. It might not be right away, but folks, when you zoom out of the chart, they're on an upward trajectory. And the Jadeveon Clowney signing, I think is very indicative of what Carolina is trying to build, a more sustainable future built around your hopeful franchise QB in Bryce Young. That's it from me. Hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. Panthers fans, if you want more videos, let me know down below. But give me your thoughts on the Panthers offseason thus far, and let me know your thoughts on the Clowney signing down below. Peace.